This SOP is going to show you exactly how we store and create our SOPs using AI. For any clinic or any business that's doing over £20,000 or dollars per month, you definitely should have one SOPs and then a one centralized place where you can store them so that you can keep things organized. When new team members come in, they have a boot camp to go through. They know exactly where they can get trained up without needing to take up loads of your time. Because, for example, in a clinic, a CA position, that's something that you might have to hire for a couple of times. And so if you can create a boot camp that they can go through and get 85% of the way there without you even needing any involvement, that's extremely high leverage for you. So I'm going to show you the tools with the AI and the softwares we use to be able to do this really effectively. I'm going to jump into my computer now and let's dive in. There's a couple of tools you're going to be using to be able to manage your SOPs and use AI effectively to create the SOPs. Now, the two are Manus, which is the AI tool, which actually is going to help you create them. And then we've got School, which is the company that Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozy founded together. And that's for storing the SOPs. So I think it's going to make logical sense for me to actually create you an SOP live on how to create SOPs, so the meta SOP. I think we do have one of these in our company training already. So if I go to here, but this can kind of get us started. So if I go, how to create SOP. So we already have a doc like this. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build all this stuff in School in a second. Let me just check I'm recording. Yes, we are. Okay, sweet. So there's a doc here using AI to make SOP. So probably I'll just use something like this. I'll probably just send you this exact doc. However, what we'll do is we'll personalize it to be more general because this will be specific to our business. So I'm just going to open up a brand new Manus task. So you can sign up to Manus. Manus is a AI company that is now owned by Meta. They bought it, I think, for like 2 billion, even though it wasn't making like much profit at all. But so this is their like LLM. So it's like competitor with ChatGPT. The reason, and you'll see why Manus is so good for SOPs, is that it's really great at formatting in Google Docs. So what I'm going to do, go to Manus. Yours will look blank. Go to a new task. Now, a little side note, if you're going to want your team to create SOPs, because as you can see in our internal training, you can see we've got a training on how to create SOPs where our team use Manus. I've created separate accounts. We were using the same account once with all of our team, and then me and Francesca as well. But when this, like, the CEO will be like putting in resources that probably the rest of the team shouldn't be seeing, and luckily one of our very proactive team members noticed that quite quickly, and then we switched it over, and now we've got our own Manus account. So you can just create like a team's Manus account if you want. It's pretty easy. So you've got here, and then I've got like a personal one, and then I've got the team's one. And you can kind of work off either, and then you can just like send an email to either your CA team or your admin email, and then just create another Manus account so that they can work on it if you'd like to. But to start, to be fair, like if you have a really close knit team, it's just like 2 or 3 people, you could just use the same Manus account. It's not too expensive. Either way, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just prompt the AI and just tell it what we're going to be doing. So, by the way, you're going to see me using text to speech. This is another AI tool I use. So I'll link the description of this. It's called Whisper Flow. It's in the description of the video. There'll be a link to Whisper Flow. You can sign up there. I'll get like a small commission, but that's not actually why I'm doing it. It's just that I know people are going to like what I'm about to do. I need your help creating an SOP on how to create SOPs. Now, I'm going to give you an example, but what I need you to do is make this way more general so that I can give this to clinic owners that might be watching this video, and so that they can build effective SOPs using Manus and then converting them into Google Docs. So I'm going to let that put in, and then I'm just going to paste in the previous SOP. It's quite easy for me because I've got literally one already made. So I've pasted it in. Manus is really smart. It just like doesn't like paste it all in. It like creates its own little text file so it can read it more easily. And I think it uses less tokens because of that. So I've given it a little prompt. I'm going to give it a little bit more though. we're mainly going to be using this for internal SOPs so that we can train teams. So it might be something like a boot camp, so we can get someone from day one ramped up within 2 weeks. So make the SOP applicable to that, but then also just day-to-day tasks that need to be learned by a team that might need to be done on a daily basis or weekly basis. So it needs to be broad enough to be effective for both those use cases. All right, let me paste this in. Now, this is going to be doing its thing in the background. Now, I've got this set to -1.6 max. I always think that it's just better to do it this way. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So at the same time, I'm going to talk you through, now we're going to have an SOP created, how we actually store our SOPs. So the tool is called School. Now, if you haven't heard of School, it is a fantastic company. Now, most of the time, people are using this for creating like small communities, like maybe £50 a month, £200 a month. But one of my mentors found that this actually worked really well for SOP storage, and I definitely agree. So I'm actually going to take you to, because we have two schools that we own, and we have the internals. This is what our team use, but I don't want to go through our internal SOPs too much, so I'm going to show you the external one. So this is our client training program. So our clients get access to an SOP library that we've created for them. This video is probably going to be going in there as well. And it's built on School. So we can use it in multiple different ways, but the functionality is the exact same. So what you've got is, if I go to Classroom, don't really worry about community. Like, your team aren't going to be using community. That's mainly for if someone's actually like building a business with lots of members and they're all talking to each other and giving each other advice. So really the only thing you're going to use here is Classroom. This is where 95% of your time should be spent. So you're in here, and what you can do is, if I come down to new courses, you can just come into new course and you could write, for example, CA Bootcamp. Okay? And then you would come here and then you can make it private. If you only want certain team members to see it, you can make it open. You can whack a profile picture. What we've done, actually, and I will create this, I'll add this now. But what we've done is, like, sometimes in our internal one, we've made them a little bit funny. So it's just good for culture, I found. So, like, for example, we have like a funny videos of Line Flow, or we've got like things from Wolf of Wall Street because it's just funny, or like recruitments, like joining the professionals. So it's a nice little thing that we've done. Obviously not required at all to do it. And then, so I'll come to the CA Bootcamp. As you can see, it's much nicer to add a profile picture because it doesn't look very nice. It's just this massive orange color. So then you go CA Bootcamp. And then the cool thing about it is that you can do it in sections and folders. So you could go, for example, intro. So that could be your first folder. And then in the intro section, you can add a page. And so then in the page, you can go how to greet a customer. Now, for this one, obviously, this is mainly going to be video format, which is why School is so good. Because what you can do is, like, for example, right now I'm recording this on Loom. And so you can come in here and you can click this little video icon and you can upload YouTube, Looms, Vimeo, Wisteria linked. And so then they will just literally instantly. So if I go to, and I just grab one of our YouTube videos.
I don't have to, baby.
And then I go add. You can see it, boom, just instantly it inputs it, which is really easy. So then you can just like sit down on Loom and you can just talk about how to greet a customer, and then boom, your team can see it straight away. And then you might want to include a doc below. So obviously we're creating the doc as we speak on Manus. Again, a really cool thing about Manus is that I'm creating an SOP right now whilst doing something else. That's just a cool thing about AI in general, to be fair though. And I love this functionality because it saves you so much time. So you don't have to like upload a video, because that can just take so long and be so time consuming if you're using a different tool. So that's why I found that, School is so great. So you've got here, and then you just go save. So let's say, okay, cool. Now I've done the intro part. Also, what I love about when you're creating the boot camps, you can just tick them. So you can go, okay, cool. I'm 50% through. So if you map out everything you wanted to do, so let's say you go intro, and then you go step 1, and then you have like a step 2 and a step 3, step 4. Every time you record a video and it's all done, it's really satisfying. And School have done this intentionally. I can just write, let me just go cancel on this, and I can just tick it, and you can just see like the progress being made. So that's for you creating it, but then also when people are going through it, they can tick it and they can see their progress, which makes it really satisfying for them. You can also see their progress, it gives them accountability, so they're more likely to get through it, and you can also hold them accountable. So it's really great as well if you want to evaluate team members and how hard working they are, because you can see how quickly they're going through the boot camp, and you can also see the amount of time they're spending roughly, because what will happen is it will say like how frequently they've, when was the last time they logged in, for example. So that's school. Definitely recommend using this. It's going to cost you, I think right now they do it for like £9 a month if you don't want the pro plan. We're on the pro plan, so it's £100 a month because we have multiple communities. But if you just want the basic functionality, which I believe is what we have on the internal one, on our external one we had the pro feature, I think it's £9 a month. At least when I got it, which was a few months ago. It might be a little bit more, but so they make the barrier to entry so low. That's why they're such a smart company. So yeah, just create all your different. So you've got like your CA boot camp, you might have your associate boot camp, you might have your like general. I can show you the thumbnails of ours, so you can see we've got like our calling team boot camp, our onboarding process, our general resources. You might want to have one of them. I do recommend the funny moments if you have any of them, because we have a few of them on film which we've uploaded. And then yeah, we have a lot though. We're probably gonna have a lot more than you, just because we have a lot of different roles within the company and a lot of different team members. But if you just have like 3 really good ones, and I really recommend this. Welcome to the team. So this just goes through like mission, vision, how like frequently asked questions, like how paid leaves works, the tech stack that you guys use, your any industry knowledge. Because for example, you have a CA coming on board, they've never worked in a clinic before. They need to be understanding the niche really quickly so they can seem like an expert. So yeah, really recommend building one of these out. And we have one called personal growth, because I was using a personal growth habit tracker, so that you can click on here and then like you can map out. But this is just like something that, so anything that you're doing that maybe you want your team to do, it's like a habit. It's like you could even record a video on your morning routine, and then your team can start implementing your morning routine if you found it's really helpful for you, and then they can set them up for the day as best as possible. So lots of different things you can add, but I wouldn't go like too crazy with with this one. Just like some basic videos talking about culture, mission, vision, niche knowledge will be really helpful. And then from here, if I go to Manus, let's have a look how this SOP is going. Okay, so you can see like it takes a minute to get this done. Like this has been going now for 9 minutes and it still isn't complete just yet. So I'm just going to pause the video, and then hopefully this will be done within not too long. Okay, we're back and the SOP is finished. I've also just asked it a quick question of, can you just check if there's no confidential information in here? And it said it wasn't, so that's good. Now, it took 8 minutes for this SOP to be done. So this is something with AI that you do need to be aware of, is the fact that you're going to have to context switch sometimes. So I was lucky with this situation that I had something else very related to what I was already working on that I could just go through and talk to you about. But sometimes you will literally like be taught, like one time I remember I was working on a finance dashboard whilst building a B2B dashboard, whilst building a QA agent, all using AI. And it can be like overwhelming, always context switching, but it's a skill that is needed to be developed if you're going to be using AI. Because obviously in this 8 minutes, you don't just look at it working. There's no need to do that. You can do something else. You can also just like reply to messages and go through emails and stuff. But if you can work on another big project at the same time and have an AI doing like 3 different agents doing things at different points, that would be ideal, because then you're being extremely productive. So let's have a look at the output we've got. So I'm going to open up this one here and we can have a look. So the way I personally like to do it is I like to go to Google Drive. I like to go to Shared Drive. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because I'm building this boot camp out for clients, this video is going to go there. So I'm going to put this SOP in here. So if I go, what folder do I usually put it in? Oh yeah, coaching programs. And then we've got the Align Flow External. Then we've got SOPs. And then we're going to put this in introduction. And then put that there. So I'm going to create a Google Doc. So I always like to just do it this way. Then come here, click the three dots, and then you want to go edit in Google Drive. Cool. And then what I do is I just copy the whole thing and I just paste it into here because then I know it's saved in the right area. It's just how my personal preference of how I've always done it. I think you can like get it so it saves automatically in the right area, but I've just always done it this way. So feel free to take that if you'd like, or do it a different way if you'd like to as well. So you can see here that it's created a huge SOP. So potentially what you might want to do in the future for like your next SOP is go, oh gosh, no, this is way too long. Like make SOPs shorter. But this gets us about 80% of the way there, and then you would just have a read through it. So you can see like the formatting of this SOP is beautiful. It's got all the tables. It's got we've even got this bit in the footer here about saying that this is confidential information, don't share it. That's all automatically done. And then, yeah, you can just see, like, if you're just scrolling through, there's just so much information here. You can just feed this into an AI going forward, and it's just going to get you 80% of the way there really quickly. And so what I would do if I was you using this SOP is it'll be in the linked in the description, and you'll be able to come here, go file, make a copy, or you can just send the same one because this will be on share. Anyone with link can view it. So you can just give the AI this SOP and then go to the AI, ask me questions related to this SOP so that we can build a boot camp for X position or build an SOP based on this internal process. And then it will just fire loads of questions your way, and then you just need to answer them, and then it will go ahead and it will just build it. So that's a really great question to ask AI. Or not question, but way to prompt it is like ask me questions so that you can do this in the most effective way possible. So I always recommend asking that before you actually go ahead and get it like creating the SOP for you. So I'm not gonna have time to read through all this right now, but I know that this will be like really, really, really high quality stuff. So you've got different prompts here as well. But the AI, if I was you, I'd just upload the whole thing. But it also just gives you a bit of an SOP on what the steps are. So feel free to have a look at this, and hopefully you can see the power of using this tool to create your SOPs, because it's just like this would take half a day maybe to create a 36-page document. And so if you can imagine the power of that if it's like onboarding a team member, how much information you get across, and you only have to record it once, and then if that person leaves, it doesn't matter. You haven't wasted the time on that individual person. You've actually, the next person can watch the same video, which I love. It's great for businesses because it means you can move so fast, which is the benefit of SOPs. One-time time investment, then it lasts your lifetime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the URL of this link, and I'm going to go to the classroom, and I'm going to head over to our external, because I actually need to add this SOP because this is going to be something that's in our internal bootcamp. So how do you store, so it's going to go in RFAQs because I get asked this sometimes, and I'm going to whack this in the description. Now, what I'm actually also going to do is I'm going to whack the YouTube video from the one you're watching right now in here, and then school will just be able to host it really nicely so our clients can go through it. So I put that there. And then you can see, boom, team members can literally just click there, or clients in this case can just click there, open up the SOP. It's as simple as that. It's such a powerful system. I love it so much. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this is helpful. Peace.